aprovechar y avanzar un rato la principal, que la tengo bastante, cuál es el desarrollo por fin de la trama. Vamos entonces a ubicar primero la misión. Ya recogí unas cuantas cosas. Ajá, esta es. Ojalá que no nos limite ninguna otra misión. Y bueno, vamos a ver qué también sale esto de la misión comentada. ¿Qué tal va en el video? Que esa es una de las dudas que tengo, porque entre mi biblioteca de Steam tengo varios juegos de estos de tales off, bastante JRPG, ARPG, RPG, y son juegos que obviamente mejor es leerlos, pero si ya están, como quien dice, ya hablados, aunque bueno, en el caso de los juegos que están hablados en inglés, allí podría ser, pero en los que estén hablados español, creo que mejor es cerrar la boca y dejar que el mismo juego hable. Bueno, lo último sí que recuerdo que wow, cómo está pasando el tiempo. La verdad que estos días calurosos, que ha bajado un poco el trabajo, ha bajado el ritmo de vida, los días se me están, bueno, ¿qué les digo? Evaporando. Cuando era pequeña vine a este sitio varias veces con mi padre, pero dejé de venir tanto al hacerme mayor, así que no sé si la comida será de su gusto. Ya recuerdo, estábamos con que íbamos a hacer la comida. Sí, comienzo a recordar. Creo que lo mejor es no leer todo, porque imagínate, ya Genshin parece una novela visual.
Oh, don't worry. We haven't eaten at a hotel like this in a while. Paimon's getting excited already.
No te preocupes, hace mucho que no comemos en un lugar como este, así que tenemos muchas ganas.
In that case, I'll go order for us first. Please wait here a moment.
En ese caso voy a ir pidiendo la comida, denme un momento.
Ooh, everything looks so good. People in Fontaine sure know how to enjoy life.
Pura harina y pura torta, es lo que yo veo. Van a salir rodando tipo, o sea, bueno, allá pareciera que le sirvieron un pollo.
Go ahead, try whatever you like. If the food's good, I'll make a group reservation for the rest of Spina di Rosula
Le
next
sirvieron
time.
pollo, lasaña, torta, el otro parece un pan con ajo, una sopa.
And if it's not? Well, then I'll still bring everyone. Albeit with only one dish per table. You, sure have your own way of doing things. Oh, we called this a farewell meal, but we could also treat it like a victory feast, right?
Parece que los otros son como unas empanadas y aperitivos con unas papas fritas. Supongo que se meten en la salsa que está allí en el mismo plato.
Oh, true. Very true. In that case, boss, we'll have another 2 dishes. Huh? Paimon didn't mean that you had to order even more food. Speaking of cases, do you think that the mastermind behind the serial disappearances will get caught soon now that this has all happened? Well, we've certainly taken a big step forward, but I feel that's about it. We know that there's an organization that means to dissolve these young women, but we still don't know what they are really after. If it hadn't happened right in front of us, Paimon wouldn't have ever believed that a person could be dissolved like that. Right? Yet it was because this was such a preposterous notion that the investigation could never really move forward before. Ugh. If only that guy could have finished speaking! We were so close to hearing who was behind it. In such investigations, even the smallest step can seem like a yawning chasm. The trail of clues is cut off. To be honest, I don't have high hopes for any follow-up that the authorities might conduct. It's not that I don't have faith in their ability, it's just that a different perspective is required in some matters. It's easy to guard against and deceive a single narrow perspective. A shift in thinking is required at such times in order to produce a breakthrough, which is exactly why the Spina di Rosula exist. Those highfalutin folk are not all-knowing. That's why we exist, to seep into the cracks where filth falls through, where their watch fails them. That's the kind of problems we solve. Seems Paimon thought things were simpler than they actually are. It's all right. Well, this was supposed to be a farewell meal, so I doubt you have further interest in this business, right? Let's talk about something else. Like, what are your future plans? That's true. We didn't have a chance to speak to her after the trial ended. It didn't really seem like the right time or place to do it anyway. I see. So, your primary objective, which has been foiled so far, was to have a chat with the Hydro Archon. I've heard that there's a long line of people waiting to meet Lady Farina. I suspect you'll be waiting for quite a while, considering that you missed your chance today. Yeah, we've heard that she's super popular here in Fontaine, and that it'll be tough getting any of her time. Well, would you consider some more, unique ways? Perhaps even methods of, let's say, questionable legality? Guess that's Spina di Rosula's boss for you. Chock full of sketchy ideas. Well, what did you have in mind? Well, one way would be to infiltrate a performance troupe at the Opera House, only to abandon your act at the play's climax and ask to speak to her after the performance. I'm sure Lady Farina would be eager to see the ending, and would agree in order to finish watching the play, don't you think? Could you suggest something a little more practical? This plan seems pretty hard to pull off. We'd have to go learn how to act, and acting's really hard. All right, here's another. Find a way to conceal yourselves under her bed. Then wake her up in the dead of night and demand answers. Don't let her go back to sleep until she answers all your questions.
El robot.
I can personally testify that this one works. When I'm sleepy, I'll do anything as long as I can finally get some sleep. That might work, but that's not really the problem. The problem is we don't want to get ourselves arrested. Valid point. I overlooked that part. I was just thinking about leveraging a person's desire for sleep. All right, no more joking around. Perhaps you could... Oh, I don't know. Cut the line when she's on a break. You did defeat her in court, clearing citizens of hers from false accusations. False accusations she had nearly upheld personally. I imagine that she feels quite ashamed about the whole thing. You mean that if we catch her while she's on a break, she might be too embarrassed to refuse? Oh, that does make sense. Why don't we give it a try after this meal? You know, strike while the iron is hot and all. Huh? Paimon, did you drink my Fanta? Was this your drink? Sorry about that. Paimon wasn't really paying attention and the cup was right next to Paimon. Would you like to order another? No, it's fine. We're just about done here. Alright. Honestly, Paimon wouldn't recommend Fanta anyway. It tastes kind of salty and icky. Is that so? Huh. Well, in that case, we'll have to blacklist the Fanta here then. If we're all finished eating, then I'll go pay.
Yeah, we're stuffed. Thanks for the treat, Navia.
Pobre Paimon, va a salir rodando. Definitivamente tengo que volver a colocar este juego en un disco sólido. Los tiempos de carga, de verdad que no me gusta. Pero el juego definitivamente engordó mucho. 70 gigabytes.
Oh, so full. Paimon can barely float anymore. Nah, that would be so normal. You know, like you.
Okay. As for expenses this month...
Hey, Navia, what are you doing?
Oh, nothing. It was just a meal, you know? Nothing the Spina di Rosula can't cover.
Let's get ready to try to meet the Hydro Archon again. Bye, Navia!
So this is goodbye, huh? Well, if you do encounter any other trouble in Fontaine, you're always welcome to contact the Spina di Rosula. I'll give your requests the highest priority. In any case, I wish you smooth sailing. I'll see you again, partner.
See ya!
Llovizna inesperada. Capítulo 2. Bueno, vamos a la plaza de la fuente. Tengo que comprar un teclado o volver a pintar las letras. De tanto viciar ya se me han borrado las teclas y cada cierto tiempo con un tippet tengo que estar dibujando otra vez las letras. Demasiado vicio. No, y también trabajo. A veces me toca tipear y tipear como si fuera el fin del mundo. Bueno, justamente aquí en la fuente la vamos a poner a Sayu a correr. No quiero pollo, no quiero... Tiene ganas de morir. El pájaro quiere suicidarse.
There aren't many people around anymore. Looks like that boat we took to Araneas might have been the last one.
Vache.
Looks like we're back here again. Huh? Traveler? Are you hearing voices again? Ugh. That's kinda spooky.
Vache?
Hey, why are you still walking towards it? There might be something nasty in the water. Huh? Hang on. Paimon can kinda hear... Hey, Traveler? Stop walking! Come on, wake up!
Como que la comida tenía algo raro.
Vache, are you my dear Vache? No, wait. You seem to be someone else. Do you know Vache? Do you know where my love is? Wait. Who am I? My memories feel like they have been washed away like a flood. So many fragments dissolved amidst the tide. How much have I lost? How many things that I once held dear while on land have I since forgotten? Yes, that is what I was once. But now, I am but the consciousness of one who is lost. I do not know how I came to be like this either. I only vaguely remember being covered in light blue water, and then all grew dim. I also remember going to many places. I loved adventure, loved exploring places. No matter where I went, Vache would go with me. I knew how deep, but now, we can no longer go back. The pain of such parting. No. Our reunion no longer has any meaning. There is no way for us to create. The thought of me gives him no succor. So let it lie forgotten beneath the waters. If you meet Vache, tell him not to look for me. Tell him to move on. That is the... Perhaps that is so. As I was submerged in the waters, losing consciousness. If only I could have comforted him. Told him that I did not suffer. Indeed, I had felt a great... Is that what you call it? Dissolving. If anything, it was a state of neither fear nor frenzy, with only an endless peace. I could also liken it to being a thirsty person who drinks water for the first time, and only then sees how they have lived for so long in a world of endless want and anxiety. I think I hear your companion. It's time for you to go, I think. Farewell, then. I am glad that you were able to sense my presence.
Esta guerra. Así que la navia es mandó.
Dear God, it's a army of Gardamex.
Me parece un sueño más bien.
Now's our chance! I should thank you for lending us your sword there, Clorand. But before I do so, could you explain how show...
Todo bien.
It seemed to me that danger has followed you more closely as of late.
I believe that following someone without their knowledge is actually called stalking,
Pues
is
acá,
it not?
probando
Mr. Callus's last wish was
qué
for me to
tal
ensure your safety, and
comentar
I will not
el
betray his
Genshin.
trust. He would do the same, were he alive today.
Do not speak of my father!
Sorry, demoiselle. I was not strong enough.
Thank you for your aid, Miss Clorand, but do keep an eye out for your manner of speech. I believe we all wish to avoid unnecessary
Hasta luego.
emotional harm.
Sorry, I did not consider your feelings.
Whatever. What else do you know? How did you come to the conclusion that I'd be in grave danger?
I doubt I know much more than you, but I believe that the mastermind behind the serial disappearances is very powerful. Your performance tonight will almost certainly attract their
Esta parece
attention.
una Genshin
I'm sure they've known about me. To be
o
honest,
una
I'm
Baal
shocked it take them this long
reducida.
to act against me. And what about these Gardamex? I thought only
La
those
otra-
associated with a Maison Gardiennage could control them.
None of these mecha have serial numbers. I was sure to check a moment ago. They are not the ones used by the authorities to enforce the law. I can only conclude that some powerful or wealthy party must have obtained them via illegal means, deploying them as a private force of sorts.
What? Your point being that they're out of Spina di Rosula's league, then?
Yes. Be careful. And do not act rashly.
I will continue investigating no matter what. We will bring the truth to light. That's my father's true last wish. Regardless, thank you for your help today, Clarand. But if you get any ideas, tell me first. I don't much appreciate being followed.
I do not think that they'll strike again anytime soon. So I shall stop following you. Good day, all.
Right. I suppose that's the best news we've gotten today.
Demoiselle, I believe that Miss Clarand was being sincere with you. If we tried, we could attempt to thaw relations a little.
I know, she's...
Oh, thank goodness! Paimon thought we were done for! Those Gardamex came out of nowhere while you were unconscious, and Nadia and her gang saved us! Oh, and there was that champion duelist named Clarand who came out to save us too! We got lucky there. Paimon probably couldn't have fought them off otherwise.
Oh, come now. Forget all that polite talk. That wasn't really a farewell meal we had back there. Not for me, anyway. In truth, I hope that every meal we have together shall be a victory feast. As such, we're still partners. There's no need to thank me.
It will take 50 years for me to match Demoiselle's magnanimity.
If it were me, I would have joined the Spina di Rosula on account of her goodwill long ago.
All right, you two. That's enough.
Actually, Navia, how did you know that we were in danger? You sure did show up in the nick of time.
Well, to be honest, you're the one who tipped us off, Paimon.
Huh? Really? Paimon contributed somehow? Ooh, Paimon's even more amazing than she thought!
Yes, all thanks to you grabbing my drink by mistake.
How did that help?
After we parted ways, I was on the way back to one of our bases when I suddenly thought of what you said. That the Fanta tasted kind of salty and icky.
Ah, sí, habían echado algo a la bebida.
Fanta only comes in sweet flavors. So how could it have tasted salty? The color of the drink, if I recall, had also been a bit off.
So the Fanta had been spiked with water from the primordial sea?
Yes. So if you hadn't drunk that cup for me...
Spina di Rosula is preparing the grandest of awards for you as we speak for saving the boss.
Huh. Really?
Menos mal que Paimon y yo somos un Fontaine.
I sent people to Hotel de Boer to investigate, but whoever did this left no trace at all. That's when I figured out that you might be in danger and hurried here as quickly as I could.
But why would they go after us too? All we did was defend Linny in court and help clear his name. Ugh, now we're caught up in this mess too, aren't we?
Well, you did foil a plan that they were probably pretty proud of,
Me gusta el
and almost
modelo
got their
de
name in the process.
Navia. Es
Speaking
el
of
modelo
which,
de Lisa,
did anything strange happen when you drank the
pero le
primordial
cambiaron el
seawater?
color, la skin,
Well,
unos
it can't
ajustes
be
y le
coincidence that the
colocaron un
traveler
sombrero.
fainted just now. She said
Bueno,
that
un
she heard
sombrero
that
más largo
voice
que Lisa
calling
también
for
tiene uno.
Vache again. Oh, and this time Paimon heard it too, but it was real faint. Does this situation have to do with the primordial seawater then?
Wow, ya
Does
comenzó
that
la
mean
novela
the
visual.
primordial seawater raises someone's sensitivity to hydro when it's used on people who are not from Fontaine?
That doesn't sound like too much of a bad thing, to be honest.
New intel? While you were out cold?
Well, let's hear it, shall we?
Era una chica que desapareció, un hombre llamado Nacho, fue testigo como la chica
Oh,
se
that
disolvió.
is important. Vache. That name doesn't ring a bell. I suppose he hasn't stepped forward as a witness in court lately. Since he saw that young woman dissolve, he was at least at the crime scene. But he never gave testimony or any information regarding people dissolving in the primordial seawater. Could he have been threatened? Yes, thank you. This is very important information indeed. We will continue to investigate. Oh, you mean you'll help us investigate?
Well, you did say that our farewell meal didn't really count. That means we're still partners, right? And besides, we're in this now whether we like it or not. You're not gonna let those people who targeted us get off the hook so easily, are you, Traveler?
Demoiselle, do try not to look quite so pleased. You are the face of Spina di Rosula, after all.
You talk. Let's head back to one, shall we? I'll arrange accommodations for you. We also have some plans to go over, and hopefully we can deepen our bonds as partners. But we'll take that one step at a time, I guess.
Don't worry, you two. With us around, our base is definitely secure.
Al fin. Bueno, y está feliz saltando. Qué eficiencia, no quedó ni un trozo de los robots, todo limpio. Me encanta la eficiencia y este durito.
Make my escape. Can't touch me.
A ver si tengo... Uy, no, ahora es que falta. Esa corona está dura. Por cierto que tengo que entregar... Uy, ahora es para allá. Tengo que descubrir este también. Me queda bastante que hacer en este mapa. Tengo mucho que hacer. Pero antes... Wow, por aquí todo el mundo vive saltando feliz. Bueno, vamos a ver. Supuestamente está abajo. Deberíamos agarrar el ascensor, pero no. ¡Ups! Cuidado. Ya íbamos a tener 2 muertos. Pobre Sayu. Por lo menos ya tengo en qué gastar los huevos eso. ¿Y acá qué hay? Ahí mejor vamos a curar un poco a Sayu. Y curemos a la suicida esta. Este es el perro bien vestido. Y se fue al otro mundo el perro fantasma.
It's right up ahead, but let's make sure we weren't followed first.
I've been keeping watch, Demoiselle. I haven't spotted anyone suspicious thus far.
Very good. But let's not let our guard down for now.
I shall find rooms for our respected guests.
Thank you, Malus. Now, let's continue, Traveler.
De repente me aparece ahí el infierno. O la película de Silent Hill, la 1. Esto así con las tuberías, la escalera, el hueco. Y este acá, por lo visto estos son los barrios con los bajos fondos. Ya es la hora, entre el calor y la hora. Ese lagarto se puede. Ya no, por acá sí. Qué raro que hay tanto lagartija acá. Uno pensaría que hubiera otra cosa acá. Quedó arriba. Y no puede dar. No, no es suficiente.
Huh?
Sombras impuras y aguas turbias. Nada desbloqueada. Y este acá. Este por acá. Aquí nadie habla. Aquí esto. ¡Uy!
The wind.
La curiosidad mató al gato.
Underground is way more fun than I thought.
Soy médico, una médico de verdad, dispongo de certificación correspondiente, la academia es un médico porque tiene pacientes aquí. Yo antes era muy pobre, apenas podía costearme los gastos de mis estudios. Entonces me ayudaron a la condición. Wow. Mucha historia.
Yes, finally on the right path.
Y acá. El uso de este tablón está reservado a publicación de anuncios para ayudar a pagar una tasa en 50 moras por anuncio. Para más información, maestro sopero precisa 2 ayudantes dispuestos. Sean capaces, local, bla bla bla, bla bla bla, bla bla bla. Vamos a ver hasta dónde se repite. Wow, eso es una telenovela vía anuncios. Apartamento. Analizadora. Creo que voy a tener que luego, no en streaming, pero sí sentarme con calma a ver qué dicen los anuncios. Sí, voy a tener que sentarme con la calma del mundo. A ver si tiene recetas. No. Acá no hay nada. Y llegamos.
So, this is your base?
Your accommodations have been arranged. Under the present circumstances, I can confidently say it's the best we have.
Sería demasiado grosero.
Well, our funds have been a little tight lately. After all, we don't allow illegal or unethical profiteering. In fact, our funds often come from citizenry who support us.
Seems like it's tough times for everyone. But if you have the support of the people, that...
To be honest, our financial situation was a lot better back when my father was in charge a few years ago. I'm afraid I'm not quite his equal.
Your father... He was the previous boss of Spina di Rosula, right? How did he...
Demoiselle, if you'll allow me to explain.
No. I'll explain it myself. I suppose I couldn't run from this topic forever. And as partners, this is something I hope they can understand. My father's name is Callus. Yes, the same one they call Callus the Unfaithful in the streets. 3 years ago, he was accused of murdering his own friend. But he chose a duel to defend his honor instead of ending trial. He died in the duel ring.
Oh no.
But I do not believe my father was a murderer. I'm sure he was set up. At the time, I believed that if he only stood trial and was duly investigated, something amiss would crop up and prove his innocence. But strangely, he not only requested the duel himself, but rumor has it that even after being seriously injured, to the point where he could be deemed as having lost the duel, he refused to surrender, determined to die in the arena. 3 years later, I still don't understand why he did that. How could he protect his honor if he's dead? If anything, the closest piece of info I have is that my father had been investigating the serial disappearances case at the time of his death.
Ah, so that's why you're so determined to get to the bottom of that case.
That's right. I've also tried to investigate the murder my father was implicated in, but I haven't found a single new clue in my countless reviews of the investigation records. However, I believe that if the murder case is related to those behind the disappearances, they must know something. I must know what really happened. Was my father coerced? Framed? Even if he really did kill his friend, I must get to the truth. If only he'd been more open with me when he was still alive. He even hid the fact that my mother died due to complications when giving birth to me. And now, here I am investigating his death. You really are a handful, aren't you, Papa?
Demoiselle, please, if there is anything I can do, anything at all.
I also will never believe that Master Callus murdered anyone. There are none whom I respect more than the two of you, Demoiselle. Master Callus did so much good in life, yet all it took was one murder case for him to be dubbed Callus the Unfaithful. Even our supporters decreased greatly due to that incident, hence our strained finances at present.
Wait, if Callus was such a good man, wouldn't people...
No. Perhaps people just revel in that kind of drama. It's not something exclusive to people from Fontaine, really. Everyone's like that. People love watching the evil turn over a new leaf, but they also enjoy watching good people fall into an abyss from one slip-up just as much.
But how could... never mind. If Callus...
There is one other thing. Master Callus's opponent in the duel was Ms.
Oh, her? Well, then, isn't that as good as saying that, yeah, that's not the sort of...
Miss Clorand has always placed great emphasis on the honorable nature of the duel. If her opponent... She knew Master Callus beforehand and greatly respected him, but seeing how he was resolute, there was only ever one choice.
It's not that I don't understand her at all, but I just...
Don't worry, Navia. Paimon knows how you feel. You don't have to force yourself.
Afterward, Miss Clorand told us that at the start of the duel, Master Callus requested that she ensure Demoiselle Navia's safety. Yes, that is our understanding as well.
Oh, Papa. What madness drove you to ask the person who killed you to take care of me? All right, anyway, that's the information I wanted to share with you. Even if it did sound like I was just complaining towards the end. thanks. You two should go and rest. This was quite a day after all.
Yeah.
Please, relax and get some sleep. We will ensure you rest soundly.
Al fin. Acá, ¿qué hay por acá?
You need to know how it works.
Libro. Y Truvia. Voy a investigar con la estación. Vamos para avanzar un buen rato la principal. Hay otro logro. Detective, me une la colección Detective Ladrones. ¿Dónde era que uno? No. Visión de novio. Este era. Expediente del caso, el cambiazo de la ópera. Oh, mira tú.
Whoever the murderer was, why would it be him? Who would have imagined that people could really turn into one?
¿Dónde está lo de detectives? El rey invocador. No, esto no. No lo veo lo de detectives. Bueno, continuemos. Esa es una gran cantidad de libros. Continuemos.
Want to outrun the law, you need to know how it works.
Pasa una tranquila noche bajo la protección.
Paimon slept so well. Huh? Navia?
I sent them back to Poisson. It's Spina de Rosula's place of origin, and where we have our headquarters. There's not much for them to do here at the moment.
Paimon gets the feeling that you're just trying to get them off your back. But never mind that. When did you get back?
No, I just returned after going out for a while. I did some investigating yesterday regarding the name Vache.
Wait, so you didn't sleep at all?
How could I after having such critical new evidence appear?
Estaba
Guess
emocionada.
Paimon wasn't speaking for everyone just now, huh?
Unfortunately, this name seems to have been wiped from existence. It doesn't seem to have a match anywhere. I suspect that those behind this have already taken steps to hinder an investigation from this angle. But that does prove that this Vache person is a key witness in the incident.
Does that mean we're too late, though?
No. There is one ray of hope. One place in Fontaine that they would find almost impossible to threaten. No matter how. And that is the archives kept by Chief Justice Neuvillette. A place where detailed files on all the cases in recent years are kept. If the Oceanette you met is one of the young women who went missing recently, we should be able to find some related information.
So Neuvillette maintains an archive of case files? Whew. Guess that's the... In that case, let's go talk to him, shall... Aren't you
No, it's nothing. Let's go see the Honorable...
Wow. Sí que estuvo largo. Qué raro, ¿y por qué me marca por ahí? Oh, mira tú. A ver si que hay salida por acá. No, esto parece por donde entramos. Y entonces, ya nos perdimos. Si subo a esa plataforma, acá. Uy, es otro día. Bueno. Venga, lagarto.
Make my escape.
Creo que hubiera sido mejor teletransportarse y listo. Yo creo que nosotros entramos por allá. Por si acaso vamos a marcar esta entrada. Porque ya tengo el tele, pero... no hay nada así del otro mundo. No. Más fácil, le damos TP y listo.
The palais is right up ahead. Come on.
Si no, vamos a durar ahí toda la noche. Sinceramente quiero avanzar. Duré muchos días haciendo secundarias, diarias y haciendo otras cosas. Hoy quería jugar un rato el del pinball. Tenía ganas de jugar otros clásicos, pero ya la hora me ganó.
Halt! Please state your business here. The Chief Justice is presently occupied with a... This place does look pretty heavily guarded.
Hey, don't you recognize us?
Huh? Who are you? Just to be clear, I don't care who you are or who you might be related to.
See? They've got great discipline, too.
Yep. If you're here just to crack jokes, I can point you towards the exit. Unlike some...
No. What I meant to say is, shouldn't you remember us from a few days ago? We were...
Oh, yes, I remember.
I read about it in the Steambird. You must be Linny's...
We're here today to report and archive some information on a follow-up case.
Huh. Is that even a thing?
Of course. Don't worry. We're here on official business. You can trust...
All right then, I'll let you through. The Chief Justice is just...
Ah, thanks so much.
Eso fue como relleno. Acá brilla algo. Venga, brillo.
The food in the cafeteria is excellent, if you're lucky enough to make it in.
Esta Sayu. ¿Qué más hay por acá? No. No hay más libros por lo visto. Wow. Casi es de la misma altura de Sayu.
Please come in.
A ver, no hay nada por acá. Bien.
Sorry to barge in, Monsieur Nervalet. We only like to get in.
It's all right. Please let me know how I may be of assistance to you.
So you're not mad at...
We're looking for a man called Vache. He may have been an eyewitness in the serial disappearances case. If we can find him, we may be able to unearth some key information on the case.
Ah, I see. In that case, please wait here a moment.
Tiene las orejas puntiagudas como elfo. Aunque tiene
Who knew
más
that
cara de
Nervalet
dragón
would be so easy to talk to?
o de lagarto.
Unfortunately, I'm quite certain that no one by the name of Vache has been involved in any case, criminal. There are no records of him either in the files or in my memory.
Traveler, what if it was really just a dream?
Is that so? All right then. Thank you.
Ahem. Miss Navia, I can understand how you feel. Your father, Callus, was a truly exceptional man. We deeply regret his passing.
And what are you trying to say? Monsieur, are you trying to console me? Extend your sympathy? Or just express some tendril of regret? No. You are not trying to do any of that. I can hear it in your voice. There's no emotion behind your words. It's just like last time. After my father took his place in the duelist ring, I pushed through the guards to talk to you as a last resort. You even told me then that you thought there was something fishy with the case, yet you still allowed the duel to go ahead. In your eyes, the value of a human life is nothing compared to those cold laws you hold so dear. If you truly regret my father's death, then why didn't you call a stop to the... Why didn't you give me the power to stop him from throwing his life away? Why did you just let him die, despised and hated by all? Everything was hanging on a thread at that moment. Just the tiniest effort could have changed. There are still so many things I never got to tell him. So many questions he still owes me answers to. If you really have no heart, then just look me in the eyes. I, Navia, will show you the true meaning of regret.
I'm sorry, Miss Navia.
You and my father are truly alike. You keep all kinds of things in your heart and never... It's not so much that you can't feel, but that you would never express. Oh well. In any case, everyone already knows full well the apathy. My apologies for taking my emotions out on you, Monsieur Chief Justice. Let's go, Traveler and Paimon.
Nos ocultan algo. Huele a novela. Me pregunto qué tan largo será este capítulo.
Navia, are you okay?
I'm fine.
Comenzó a llover.
Rain. It's raining.
You're right. Wasn't it still sunny when we went into the building? And there shouldn't be any active trials today.
Now that I think of it, on the day my father was convicted of murder, it was also rain.
What is it? Did you think of something?
Yeah, he was outside. It was uncovered and the rain could fall there. Why? Do you think the rain could have affected... That thought has occurred to us before. We've even expanded the search area to try to account for that, but didn't find anything of value. Oh? Wait. You don't mean...
So you're saying that the true murderer could have been turned into water and then got washed away with the rain? Yeah, and if that's what had happened, then no one would have believed your dad, even if he explained what he saw to the authorities.
I really think I found a true genius for a partner. You're completely right. All right, let's go to Poisson. With this new lead in mind, we'll get to the bottom of my father's case for sure.
Yeah, we're gonna make progress for sure this time.
Do you want to go with me now? Or do you want to head over by yourself later?
Vamos ahora.
Great. Let's go then.
A ver si llegamos al capítulo 3. O episodio 3.
Love it when the weather's like this. Just so... Doze off for a while.
Por aquí ya yo estuve. Por eso era esta gente por acá.
Whoa! What a huge ship! Why would a ship be anchored at a place...
There's no need to be so surprised. While it may look like a ship, it's actually... My father was the one who asked for it to be built like this. Perhaps our taste in exterior design is the only thing we... A gigantic and glamorous ship embodies discovery, opportunity, ambition, and conquest. It symbolizes Spina di Rosula's bright and limitless future.
And Paimon thought you were bluffing when you said Spina di Rosula had a glorious pet. Paimon was confused why a group with such a history would live in the sewers. But now that Paimon has seen this ship for herself, she's been convinced.
Well, Poisson is where Spina di Rosula began, after all. It's our main base, our home.
Como que son piratas. Ahí tenemos... brillante. Ahí brillante. Hay premio. Repollo. ¿Te gusta mi premio? Trigo. Está difícil manejar así. Si subimos.
Apologies for the wait, demoiselle, and you said before that you still had some business at the court. What brings you back to Poisson so quickly?
About that. It's because my partner here reminded me of something really important. You see, you still remember, right, Malus? On that night, it was raining?
Yes, the case was quite similar to that of Mr. Linney's. Both were what you'd call...
Could you tell us a bit more about what happened before?
Yeah, of course. Many years ago, something called synth began to gain popularity in Poisson. At a glance, it was a kind of drink that could excite your mood and produce many pleasant...
Wait! Didn't that guard guy who turned into water also mention that the primordial water could be used to produce...
Yes, he did. Considering what we know now, it's almost certain that synth is created using water from the primordial sea. If you drink synth for an extended amount of time, you'll suffer many side effects, such as losing the ability to focus, and if you were to stop drinking it completely, you'll experience flashes of paranoia and anxiety, while lacking energy to do anything. As he oversaw Poisson, my father was compelled to put a stop to synth abuse, and called for a complete ban of it.
Boss's uncompromising attitude incurred the synth vendor's wrath, but no matter how much they threatened or bribed him, he refused to yield. Not only that, Boss became determined to find the mastermind behind the synth up.
Yes, but the enemy was very cunning. Recognizing that, my father decided to contact the dealers, and the man's name was Jacques. He felt greatly ashamed about his work after seeing many families destroyed by synth abuse. That night, my father hosted a banquet at his countryside estate, but then we heard 2 gunshots from the courtyard. We raced to the scene and found my father, still holding a gun, and Jacques, who was already dead on the ground.
Huh? How did that happen?
Sounds just like Lenny's case, doesn't it? In both cases, the culprit seemed obvious. But looking back on it, though, I now believe the most important clue was something we all overlooked at the time. There were pieces of clothing left precisely. It's all thanks to you that I made the connection now. Back then, we all just thought they were some costumes that Jacques used to disguise. But, considering it now, it's almost certain that they belong to a third person at the scene. With one extra person, we'll also need to reconsider why the 2 shots... You're right. We still don't know what happened. But my
Jacques was an empathetic man who was infinitely remorseful for his past actions. It's unlikely that I think this third person is probably the key. On that note, however, even though this will not please you, demoiselle, our opponent is insidious and cruel. They are extremely difficult to deal with, and Boss has already lost his life trying to bring them to justice. Even though Spina de Rosula has lost most of its former glory, Poisson has welcomed a new... There is no need to follow your father's path. It would be both wise and in line with Boss's wishes to step back.
If that's indeed what he wished for, then was I not the closest person to him? And yet, what was the point of him dying without sharing any of the secrets he knew? Did he? Synth is still here. Callus the Unfaithful is still his epithet. And Spina di Rosula is barely getting by. Nothing. Did he think I'd just accept his meaningless death and live out my life just as meaninglessly? I've never accepted that. Ever. Not since that day. I want to find out the real answer for everyone's sake. For the missing girls, for the victims, and for myself.
Navia.
This is indeed the best moment to act. Your partner appears to be quite reliable, and more importantly...
So you do know something else, Malus?
Yes, I do. In fact, even before that banquet, Boss already knew of the connection between Sid. But what drove all the tensions to the boiling point was the revelation that you, demoiselle, had been so...
What?
Boss also didn't tell you that he had been diagnosed with a rare illness. The doctors and the serial disappearances case cost him 5 years was nowhere near enough time to resolve this long-standing conflict. But once he passed away, knowing all of this, he decided to use one final intimidation tactic before his death. He claimed to have already gotten his hands on some, but as long as you remained safe, he would not share the evidence with the... If something were to happen to you, then he and all those he told would immediately expose all they knew about Synth and the disappeared.
Right, so nobody would be able to get off scot-free.
As we've seen, Boss's tactic has worked. Even though Boss has been gone for a long time, the other side...
No, I don't believe it. He never appeared.
No father wants their daughter to see them weak and haggard, especially someone as proud as Boss. To him, dying in a duel and suffering lasting dishonor as the unfaithful.
So he chose to die in silence, so that he...
I'm afraid you're not understanding this correctly, demoiselle. What Boss wanted to hand to you was not a parasol, but a sword. If Boss's spirit could hear you telling me that you want to find the answer for the sake of everyone, I'm sure he'd be extreme.
That fool. Couldn't he have just given it to me straight? No. He might have set up everything precisely because he never thought I'd be able to understand him. Is that the amount of confidence he had in me? And what if I was never able to make it to where I am now? Yeah. I suppose that's true. With the way he'd set things up, if I had wanted, I could have just lived out my life without a care in the world. But thankfully, he rarely talked to me about complex matters, and thus understood little of me as a person. In this case, Malus, what was the key evidence that he shared with you?
It's the location where Synth is produced. When he was threatening the enemy, Boss didn't share the specifics of the... But if you want to use it against the enemy, you'll still...
Why? If we know where the place is, can't we...
You mustn't forget that we're fighting against a mysterious and dangerous organization There's no telling what might be lying in wait at their headquarters. But a single visit to their headquarters would be tantamount to The worst case would be that we leave empty-handed. But also...
Then, in that case, why not work...
Well, you saw one of them dissolve during Mr. Linney's case. We have no idea just how...
Huh. That's true. Seems my fault, but things are different now. It should be a lot easier to prove the other side's guilt, now that we've connected Synth with the disappearances case.
You sound like you've put a lot of thought into this, Malus.
I am the butler, after all. I live but to serve the boss and demoiselle. I've always been willing to take on any kind of risk for your sake. But considering my relative lack...
Thank you for all of that, Malus. Have you discovered anything new in the past few years?
Let me think. One conclusion I came to was that the enemy must be quite familiar with Spina di Rosula. But when I announced orders to the organization's members on Demoiselle's behalf, I used to deliberately keep a few people in the dark and observe the reactions of the synth vendors. If the vendors didn't change their plans, then the individuals informed of our orders must be innocent. If the vendors packed up and fled, however, then someone... I've narrowed this down to 3 people. The first is Spina di Rosula's senior advisor.
Florent?
Yes, surprising, isn't it? He was one of the people Boss trusted the most, which also means that he was someone who understood Boss really well. Thanks to his position within Boss's innermost circle, he always knew coming plans and thus avoided this whole time. There's someone else like him, Marcel. It's a guild in Poisson. Boss helped it to grow to its current size and prominence. In the beginning, they were only reselling some daily goods, but now they're one of the richest guilds around with a lot of business connections in the city.
So, they're like a sister organization of Spina di Rosula?
Yes, you can say that. When we were fighting against the synth dealers, they provided us with plenty of support. It's a bit difficult to imagine someone using their own money to hunt down themselves.
The final suspect is Thierry, the man responsible for coordinating information between Spina di Rosula and the guards. Although the guards mostly leave us to our own devices, there are still many activities we have to report to the local authorities. Since Thierry is always in the know about our current activities, he could theoretically always plan one step ahead.
I see. These are all people who I communicate with quite regularly. To think that the enemy we've been fighting against has been right next to me all along, among those I trust the most. It's almost too hard to believe.
If you want to investigate them, please take every precaution to not alert the quarry. Judging from our experience, the enemy is extremely cautious.
Of course. And thank you, Malus. You've provided us with a lot of great
No veo a
information.
Silve por ahí.
You're too kind, my lady. I'm just doing my duty. And before I forget, proving Boss's innocence would also mean clearing him of blame in Jacques' death. After that incident, Jacques' wife and daughter were taken into the Spina's care. They still live in Poisson today. If it might help, you could also pay them a visit. I can make the necessary arrangements.
Oh, thank you so much, Malus. You really are the best.
A new case awaits, my dear partner. I hope we can work together to uncover the truth and end this case once and for all.
En aquella noche lluviosa, hace 3 años, los asistentes del banquete escucharon 2 disparos, bla 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 bla. Esto va para rato. El miau. Puntos brillantes. ¿Pescado? No. Un reloj
Make my escape.
y frutas. O verduras.
It is settled, then. Please excuse me, and enjoy.
Thank you for arranging everything for...
Excuse me, miss.
Oh,
Hey, Navia's all quiet. This isn't like her at all.
I'm sorry that I only came to visit after all this time.
Ah, if it's about that, there's no need to apologize. After my husband died, Spina di Rosula sent us a lot of mora and support.
But aren't all of those things nothing compared to the loss of Jacques? I can understand the kind of pain that comes with losing a father.
You don't understand.
I didn't know how to face you, because I didn't know what I could possibly bring as a consolation gift. I know only the full truth could bring closure to you.
I'm sorry. I appreciate the sentiment, but you don't have to care. On the matter regarding my husband, my daughter and I have more or less...
Would you mind sharing it with me? I really can't believe...
I always knew his money was earned through others' suffering. He told me countless times that if he could turn back the clock, he would never go into this. He had many regrets, and felt that he took the idea of providing for his family too literally. For the longest time, he thought Mora was... So when Mr. Callis came to him with a proposal, he accepted it almost immediately. He tried to be as careful as he could, but even so...
They found out about it.
Papa didn't say that exactly, but Papa did tell me that I should never be ungrateful.
Before he left that day, he told me that he had no choice. It was only later that I realized it was his final farewell to the two of us. I don't know that for sure, but you could say that's the which is why I'm the one who should feel guilty.
Callus had always taken great care of us, both when he was still alive and after he passed away. Even if he fired the shot that killed my husband, it was likely in self-defense.
But Mama, why is Papa still the bad guy if Papa always wanted to be a good—
Well, things aren't always as they seem. You still feel like your Papa was a good man, right?
Yeah, Papa was a real—
Then you should hold on to that. If a good man had to do a bad thing, then he must have had his reasons. Regardless of a parasol or a sword. He must have done—
Oh.
Thank you for everything you've told me. I will definitely find the truth.
Thank you. Even though your personality is quite different from your father's, your determination when you speak is—
You really think so? That's the first time any—
Are you okay, Navia?
I'm fine. Don't worry. Let's investigate the 3 suspects next. Laurent should be—
Greetings. How may I be of assistance today?
I'm sure you've heard about what happened at the Opera House. Someone got turned into what?
Yeah, I've heard. With something that dramatic, I'm sure—
It also reminded me, on the day that the incident happened with my father, after my partner here put the dots together for me, I feel like we should try to reopen— Can you do me a favor and try to recall what happened?
Let me think. Mr. Callus was feeling after that. He told us that he wanted to go get some fresh air. So we let him go. My first reaction was that Mr. Callus's life was in danger. So I grabbed my holster and made— But when I got there, it was already too late. Mr. Callus was standing over a dead—
So you also remember 2 gunshots then?
Indeed. The guard said that the first shot didn't hit anyone, while the second killed Jacques. But I've never reason being, Mr. Callus had left his gun on the table. But according to the guards, that doesn't mean he couldn't have had other guns on his person. About the clothes left at the scene that you mentioned, do you think there was a third person there who was turned into one?
At least from our perspective, my father had no reason to kill. So he would also have no reason to bring an extra gun with him. The gun he was holding probably belonged to Jacques. Or a—
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So you're saying, But hold on. If that's what it he didn't even want to face the Oratrice machine. And did he lose all faith in the courts after seeing someone dissolve right in front of his eye?
About that, Malus told me a thing or two. So I'll tell you everything once—
I understand. Then I'll leave Mr. Callus. And if I may just say one more thing. The whole Callus, many people have laughed at me for still calling him Mr. Callus. But it was Mr. Callus's trust, no matter what others might—
Don't worry. I will— You and all our other comrades at the Spina—
Ahora es la corte. Por cierto, ¿cuántas gemas yo tengo? Debo tener poquito que tiré hace poco. Para evitar posibles metidas de pata, vamos a comprar dentro de 4 días. No vaya a ser que por error nos las gastemos en cosas. Mejor prevenir que lamentar. Sí que está. Este.
Hey, Thierry!
it's me.
Oh, now, what brings you here?
Oh, so you've come.
Oh, okay. Hey, I'm also a member of the guards, you know.
Are you sure there isn't a little bit of truth in that? Under normal circumstances, shouldn't you have been?
I mean, Callus did a fantastic job running the town. It would be next to impossible for me to find a similarly easy but high-paying... Anyway, enough chit-chat. Are these two friends?
Ah, yes. What happened at the Opera House made us realize that Linny and my...
Ah, I get it. You think there might... If you want to go through the original files from your father's case...
That'd be much appreciated. Thank you. Actually, I have another question. Do you have authority to dispatch Gardamex?
Of course. Why do you ask? We definitely can't use them to forcefully get more...
Well, you see, just recently, we were attacked by a horde of So, if you hypothetically wanted to do something against me, all you...
Then you think too highly of my abilities. Dispatching mecha is very different from controlling them. If I had to make an analogy, when you order a dish, the chef will make it for you. You can ask the chef. If you try to make unreasonable demands, the chef would just think you're out of your mind and ignore you. Removing a serial number is also not as easy as you might think. So I can promise you, those mecha were definitely private units. They're certainly not cheap. So, whoever their owner is must be super rich, powerful, or both. Now that you...
Oh, then you're officially in the clear, Thierry.
Oh, jokes aside, I'd like to wish you all the best with your... I'll be staying in the city for a little while, so just come find...
Eso fue sospechoso. Wow. ¿Cuánto más? ¿Cuánto bla 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 más? Se me iba a morir esa ayuda. ¿Qué tan largo es esto? O sea, me gustan las buenas historias, pero es que rellenan mucho con bla 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 bla. No me dice.
Hello. How may I help you? I'm here to see Marcel. Could you please let him know? Sure.
Navia, hello. Sorry to keep you waiting. I'm not as young as I used to be.
Oh, it's all right, Uncle Marcel. I just wanted to talk to you briefly about what happened in the opera.
Yes, I've never...
Oh, you were at the Opera House too?
That's right. I went there with Navia to see the magic show. Who knew it would turn into a whole... I also witnessed your marvelous sleuthing work. To beat the Hydro Archon at her own game on her own turf, I can already imagine everyone in Fontaine just...
Oh, Paimon doesn't want to become the talk of drunkards.
Apologies. It's just how Fontaine is as a nation.
Uncle Marcel, you've also noticed that other thing, right? The fact that humans can dissolve...
Yes, I was reminded of my father's case right away. Is that what you're investigating now?
Exactly. I still don't have much solid proof, but I can sense that the other side...
Oh, and...
We were attacked on Araneus by some unnumbered Gardamex. And there was also an attempt to get me to drink water from the... If not for the vigilance of my partner, I probably...
Oh, you're giving us too much credit. Wasn't it...
Alas, it seems things are heating up again. The peace that Callus sought so dearly will soon... But rest assured, Navia, Poisson will always remain a safe haven for you. If anyone dares to lay their hands on you there, the Confrérie of Cabrières will use its funds to the last Mora to bring them to justice.
Thank you, Uncle Marcel. But I don't intend to go into hiding. I'm going to strike. Do you have any new thoughts on my father's case?
About that. Sorry, my age is catching up with me. The Confrérie was responsible for that banquet, so I was out and about the whole time making sure things were running smoothly. I didn't even... Then I heard the sound of a gunshot, and the rest was history.
It's okay. No need to push yourself. We'll ask around.
Sounds good. Just let all my wealth comes from Callus's patronage and support. I'll spend however much it takes to clear his name.
Reorganiza las pistas. Pobre Sayu. Solo se le ven las orejas. Como hace falta en todo World of Fantasy hubiera usado el planeador.
We've talked to all three suspects, purely based on their conversations with me.
None of them sounded particularly suspicious.
I suppose that's to be expected, though. If a single conversation's all that's needed to find... Anyway, even though we didn't make a breakthrough...
But where should we start? Ah, you're right!
According to Jacques' family members, he already told them that he had been discovered. If I had to guess, he probably received an...
So, Jacques fired the first shot?
Oh? And why is that?
Ooh, that's a good point. Jacques probably already knew that he was just being used as a tool for murder. And once he had completed his
So, what would make more sense from his perspective would be to turn his back on the Order. Makes sense. But without evidence, that's still just a theory. Besides Jacques, the attack from the Gardamex has been bothering me. It's obvious that our enemy has become more antsy after the secret of the Primordial.
Do you think he knew, even then, that we'd follow this lead to the end?
Given everything that's happened since, it's quite possible. But who among the three suspects would have the ability to control privately owned Gardamex?
De las tres personas que dijo Melly, ¿cuál de ellas puede controlarlo? Marcel.
Uncle Marcel? My father did really trust him. And they worked together on a large number of projects. Maybe that's how he got to know Jacques. And with funds from the Confrérie, he could also afford a large number of Gardamex. It's still really hard for me to imagine, though. After all, Uncle Marcel has been around since I was just a Also, wouldn't this mean he has been spending a whole lot of mora and energy to fight his own synth business?
Ya veo quién va.
Thierry, you say? Huh. It is possible that he's figured out a way to convert, but I didn't feel like he was lying when he was talking to us about the
Yeah, had he actually tampered with the mecha, we'd be able to... If the mecha were taken from the guards, it should be pretty easy to find out when and how that happened.
Florent? It is true that he was closest to my father, and thus had the but as Spina di Rosula's advisor, his work mostly deals with personnel and security.
So you broke to afford a mecha army?
He can't. And even if he could, I don't think he would... Who could it be?
Bueno, entonces Floren, bla bla bla, el consejero. Él también estaba presente en el banquete. Yo sigo pensando que es más él.
No, if you think everything through, Uncle Marcel is indeed the most suspicious of them all.
Could we be missing other suspects? Malus didn't know about the people turning into water thing when he narrowed it down to these three.
Malus has always been very reliable, and his judgment of others' trustworthiness has been. The suspect is knowledgeable about the Spina's internal affairs, has the means to dispatch Mecha to assassinate us, and even if I don't want to believe it, I'm starting to see how things could all tie back to Uncle Marcel.
Well, we still have another trump card on top of all the theorizing and speculating.
Yes, Malus did say that charging straight in there would be extremely risky, but we don't have any other options right now. We need far more solid proof before we can hope to go charging in on our enemy.
Navia, here you are. Oh, I've been looking for you.
Huh? Aren't you the guy from the god?
Yeah. News came from Berenice just after you left. We've got another trial.
Isn't that place built specifically for holding trials? What's so newsworthy about this one?
I know. But they said the person they're putting on trial is a Fatui harbinger called Tartaglia.
What? Is that someone you know?
Yeah, we know him. Maybe even a little too well.
Well, he's been accused of being the true culprit behind the serial disappearances case. It's absurd, don't you think?
Wait, how? None of our investigations have had anything to do with him.
That's what I thought was strange about it, so I came to tell you the news right away. If the charge against him stands, then it'll be next to impossible to get the guards to support any of our planned investigations.
Right, because they'll think they've already found the culprit.
Yeah, and it'll be a lot harder then to clear Mr. Callus's name.
I understand. Well, partner? Huh? Split up? What do you mean?
Y yo voy a ese lugar. Confío en mis habilidades y sé que puedo ir a ese lugar. Tú vas a la Jerina y yo voy a ese lugar.
Just as since this is a trial about the serial disappearances case, the culprit's attention, you're right. This is our best opportunity. All right then, I won't have any chance of making that charge stick though, unless we find more evidence. It'll be up to you to make it back.
We'll help you, just like you helped us in Lenny's trial.
Demoiselle, please allow us to accompany you.
I'm ready.
Ah,
Apareció
Silver.
Silver.
When did you
We heard that you'll be leaving Poisson and figured that it's our hope that your confidence will be bolstered with...
Thank you so much.
Now that Navia has set out for Erinias, we should also get going. The location has already been marked on the map, so let's head over. According to Malus's info, the synth production base is underwater. Let's go and try to find the entrance.
Y tengo que marcar los sitios.
Finally found it. Huh. So this is the entrance that leads to the synth production base. You're right. And Navia's probably...
It would appear that I must repeat my question again, Mr. Tartaglia. Do you accept the charge that you are the true culprit behind the serial disappearances case?
To be perfectly honest, I don't understand your country's complicated court system, or the reason why I'm being charged with something I've never even heard of. However, I did hear that people who have been charged can choose to participate in a duel to clear their name. Is that right? In which case, as long as I accept the charge, I can have an all-out fight with that champion duelist Clorend, right? I've got to admit, that's one of the most enticing offers I've ever received. When I privately sparred with her last time, she was obviously holding back. Real disappointing.
Hey! Don't you understand? You're currently the prime suspect for a major case. This isn't the place for you to be looking for fights.
Oh? Sounds like the Hydro Archon wants to lecture me on the ways of the Opera House. Then why don't you duel me too? I'm the kind of student that learns best in the heat of battle.
No. That's not what I meant.
Alas, it would appear that communication with the defendant is going poorly. We have made very little progress. In that case, let me explain everything from the very beginning again. The goal of this trial is to determine the culprit behind the serial disappearances case.
That case had nothing to do with him! You've got the wrong man!
Huh? What's going on? Why is she interjecting again?
I told you it couldn't be one of the Fatui Harbingers.
Miss Navia, this is the second time you've interrupted the court proceedings. I only tolerated your behavior last time because you were able to provide the court with a key. But that was an exception rather than standard court protocol. I can very well charge you with—
Oh, please. Did you ever think I had any respect for this place's pointless theatrics? We can put that discussion aside for now. I'm not here to argue with you. I'm here to charge the true culprit behind the and if my charges prove true, then Tartaglia here will be proven innocent by default, correct?
Oh, a young lady has charged in and offered to clear my name. How fascinating. Well, I'd gotten half bored to death by all these rules and procedures anyway, so I'll take you up on that offer. So, Your Honor, is there nothing else for me to do now?
You may take a seat for now in the audience, but that doesn't mean the suspicions against you have been lifted. Now then, Miss Navia, who—
That person is—
¿Otra vez? Ah, detalle.
Marcel, the head of Confrérie of Cabrières!
Huh? What confrérie?
I've heard of them, but weren't they Spina di Ros—
Oh, is this going to be a friends to enemies type situation?
Please let me remind you, Miss Navia, that charging someone is an incredibly serious matter. And if the charge fails, depending on the circumstances, you may also be charged with the crime of making a false accusation.
Yes.
In that case, I declare the charge to be valid. Miss Navia and attorneys, please take your— Members of the guards, please contact Mr. Marcel right away so that he may stand trial. Mr. Marcel, you will not require an—
Apologies. It all just happened so quickly. I think an attorney won't be necessary. This is probably just a misunderstanding.
Very well. In that case, since both sides have now arrived, Miss Navia—
I would like to take everyone back to 3 years ago, to the case of— Only through elucidating what really happened in that case can we connect all the dots for the serial disappearances case.
Navia, do you really think that I was the one who killed— Come on, why would I do that? Callus was my benefactor, and remember, both you and I only ran to the scene. If that's enough to make me a suspect, wouldn't that make everyone at that banquet a suspect as well?
I think there's no point in getting into the specifics right now. The audience doesn't even have the big picture yet.
Exactly correct, Your Honor. I must refresh everyone's memory about that case.
I see. In which case, I will recount the findings about that case as originally recorded by Maison Gardiennage.
Uf, este bla 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 va para rato.
On the day of the murder, Spina di Rosula hosted a large banquet in a countryside estate owned by the Confrérie of Cabrières.
Necesito un vaso de agua. Esto va para rato. Aquel día los miembros estaban reunidos, bla bla bla.
During the banquet, all attending guests heard 2 gunshots from the courtyard. When the guests arrived at the scene, they found the primary suspect, Callus, holding a gun. The guard's investigation did not recover any other firearm. The suspect did not dispute this conclusion, and also declined to defend himself in court. Instead, Callus was defeated by champion duelist Clarand in the ensuing duel. And these are the known facts about...
The one with the motive to kill was Jacques, not my father. And even so, Jacques still had no reason to... in truth, the third person shot Jacques first, and was shot in turn by my father when my father see. After that, the true culprit turned the third person into water. Thank you for the summary, Your Honor. Of course, the guard's conclusion... However, we should revisit the case now that we've gained new information about the ability... Something's not...
Ya empezamos con lo mismo. Se celebró el banquete, no podía refutar una prueba en relación de... Se escuchan 2 disparos.
Something's not...
A la ropa.
This assassin first shot Jacques, then turned to shoot Callus, only for Callus to wrestle the gun.
La ropa. No.
The testimony of the victim's family confirms that Jacques had thoughts of assassinating. However, in the end, he reconsidered and instead shared. Unfortunately for Jacques, the true culprit had already...
No se hallaron armas de fuego, por lo que se dedujo del sospechoso. No, pero el testimonio de este.
A pile of clothing was found at the scene. But now it is clear that the clothes were proof that there was a third person at the scene. And that since it was raining that day, the culprit was confident that they could use the rain to watch. Realizing this, the true culprit caused the hired assassin to dissolve into water, leading everyone to believe Callus was responsible.
So that's what happened. Wait, you're telling me something as dangerous as water from the primordial sea has been used for all these years?
What a great theory. It also explains Callus's and Jacques' respective motives. I guess they didn't shoot each other after all.
Mr. Marcel, you are the one being charged with the crime. You should provide a...
But I think I agree with everything Navia just said. In fact, there was nothing in her speech that directly...
Then, may I ask some questions. In my opinion, 1. Do you have the evidence to back...
I'm afraid not. At least not...
Boo! If you don't have any...
I may not have the evidence with me, but I know where I could go to collect it. If we look up the deserted clothes against a wreck, we should be able to find a match. Considering the serial disappearances case, the guards probably kept careful records of all missing persons from around that time, regardless of age or gender.
That makes sense to me. Monsieur Neuvillette, I would consider this to be a reasonable investigative direction.
Why do I feel like Farina's acting a little differently today?
Maybe she's scared of embarrassing herself again?
Alternatively, she's become more diligent after charging an innocent citizen in the lab.
My second question has to do with the ensuing duel. If the truth is indeed as you described, then why didn't Mr. Callis explain himself in court? If he had testified that a person had been dissolved,
I've thought about this too, and the answer is actually pretty simple. The dissolving power of water from the primordial sea is an important secret for the true culprit of the serial disappearances. My father could have exposed it for all to see, but he chose to take it to the grave. At that time, Spina di Rosula was in dire straits, and his reputation had already been shattered. He had no guarantee that going forward with the truth would allow the culprit to be brought to justice. What was certain, however, was that it would paint a gigantic target on my back.
Boss once told me that Demoiselle had already been selected as the next target of the serial disappearances case.
What?
If the secret had gotten out, the culprit would have fought an all-out war with Espina right there and then. I wouldn't have been the only one in danger. All of us would have stood to lose our lives. Of course, the guards might eventually figure out the truth of the matter and determine that we were in the right. But what good would that do? How can a hollow verdict protect anyone? Had this opera house ever given my father any kind of confidence in its brand of justice, Spina di Rosula would have had no reason. But by staying silent, we retained the ability to deter our opponents and continue the stalemate. I was able to become Spina di Rosula's president, which made me harder to target, as well as giving me more time to grow and learn. And once I have figured out the truth and stepped up to the challenge, I will do what this opera house cannot, and restore my father's truth and honor back to him.
So, you mean to say, your father intended to die in the duelist's ring?
That's right.
Do you have any proof?
Of course. All you need is to ask his opponent, Clarand. I don't need your apology, your guilt, or your support from the shadows. You don't have to do anything for my... But since he entrusted his will to you, Clarand, you should tell us the truth about his...
So, during the duel, did you believe that Callis was intending to die?
Yes, I did. As a champion duelist, I've fought many battles and taken a countless number of dishonored lives. In my line of work, I've seen all kinds of people give their all for the faintest hope to continue living. Some were determined, others passionate. Just one look and I can tell if a duelist is hoping to live or if they're looking to die. I hereby swear on my name and honor as a champion duelist that Mr. Callis never intended to leave the ring alive.
Since that's your testimony, I have no more questions. It appears there really are good grounds to reopen this case.
I concur. However, Miss Navia, you still have not explained the link between your father's case and the serial disappearances.
Right? What she said was fascinating, but...
Wait, weren't they just talking about the serial disappearances case?
Of course, Your Honor. The two cases are connected via a matter of timing. In my father's case, the culprit intended to kill both Jacques and Callis. As a result, and at the end of Linny's trial, the culprit also only dissolved the victim in front of everyone because they realized they were at risk of being identified. The culprit could only time their actions so precisely if they were already at the scene. Coincidentally, Marcel attended both the banquet and the trial.
Ya
So
vamos
that's
casi a
why
2
you
horas.
suspected me.
2
Even after
horas de bla
hearing
bla
your
bla.
reasoning, I still can't help but find it a little preposterous. I'm used to it, though. You've always been an impulsive and sentimental child, Navia. It's one of your most endearing traits.
No need to appeal to pathos.
I won't try to refute your points one by one, but even if everything you just said was true, can you prove that I was the only person present at both events? On top of that, does a person have to be physically present to control the timing? Can't someone remotely monitor the place?
Don't know what she can say to that.
I know that even with that, you might still think you can reduce the list of suspects with some further investigations until I'm the only one left on the list. Alas, who won't feel at least a little hurt by an accusation of murder from a girl you But if I were to dismiss this completely, you'd also think I'm not being considerate of your feelings. Ah well, let Uncle Do you know what the biggest flaw in your reasoning is?
I suppose you're gonna tell me anyways.
It's timing again. I'm a businessman by trade. From that standpoint, there's no reason for me to kidnap young women. It's a high-risk action with nothing to gain. In addition, I left my home in Snezhnaya when I was young to come to Poisson and work in some trade. My business only thrived when I received Callus's patronage. But the disappearances began before I ever stepped foot in Fontaine.
I do apologize, demoiselle. This was my mistake.
No, it's not your fault.
Is there anything else you'd like to say? Would you like to check the date of my first business license against the first known case of the serial disappearances? You can also take a look at my border entry records, or ask my friends and family when I left Snezhnaya for the first time. Could those records and testimonies do something to appease the unspeakable
Seems like she got the wrong guy. At this rate, Navia will be convicted for falsely accusing him.
I think you've done a superb job of dissecting your father's feelings as he neared the end of his life. But aren't you going against all of his wishes and expectations right now? He wished for you to become more rational, collected, and conscientious, instead of dwelling only on your own. Once you've learned to be more considerate of others' feelings, and to stop rushing headlong into things, you'd have met most of his expectations.
This isn't just about me, and it never has. The biggest difference between me and the rest of the victims is that I still have the ability to search for the truth. The people whose families were destroyed by synth abuse, the people who lost their loved ones to the serial disappearances, and the people who suffered tragic ends due to their sense of justice. Many people's images are flashing before my eyes. I'm sure some— And whose image do you see? Is it a man named Vache?
Huh.
Oh, so you do know that—
I'm merely surprised you'd suddenly say the name of someone I've never even heard of.
I was waiting for you to say that.
Creo. Me pregunto si hubiera agarrado al policía, ¿sería el mismo resultado o cambiaría la historia o será lineal, no será lineal? Caramba. Al fin me puedo mover. No hay mapa donde estamos. Este equipo está más que bien. Aunque por si acaso, para sacar más ajustado, pues ahí no estaría mal, pero a dar un poquito de dentro. al fin un poquito de...
My guiding stars.
Más tarde yo organizando equipos.
The floor is going up. Is it because of this mechanism in the middle?
No revise si
That
había
guy
algo
really
por ahí.
prepared a lot of stuff for this place.
Aquí hay cofre. Por acá. No. Vamos a ver, por aquí no hay nada. No, aquí no hay nada. ¿Y? ¿Me dejan pasar? No. Y debajo del reloj. Mira tú, había una entrada. Ah, no. Llegué justico. Sí o sí por acá.
Paimon thinks we need to go up, but Paimon doesn't see a way. Let's take a look around. Maybe we'll find a hidden mechanism that'll show us the way up.
Hay que romper ahí. Venga, cangrejo. La licuadora.
The water level is rising. Now we can swim to the top. But this is still a ways away from where we need to go.
Hay que buscar otra forma todavía. Otra vez estos.
I see everything. Allow me. Everyone hold hands.
Acá no hay libro. No. No hay libro, no hay nada. Y de nuevo más agua. Imagínense invertir tantos recursos para construirte una base que tiene que llenarse de agua para poder subir un piso. Si fuera una base de submarino, todavía. ¿Cerrado? Sí. Cerrado por allá, cerrado por acá. cofre. Por acá. Cónchale, pero aún me quedé con la duda. Si uno hubiera agarrado a otro, la historia sería igual, sería diferente. Voy a tener que ver algún video de YouTube. A ver otra persona que haya agarrado otra opción. Me parece que agarré como quien dice la opción más común de todas. El hombre rico es el malo. No sé, no me siento conforme con la opción. Aunque era la más obvia, pero justamente por eso.
The Temple of Wisdom. I see everything. My guiding stars. Hold the line. Let's move up.
El equipo explosivo es este. Esto es para rato. Terminamos esto y ya descanso porque tenía la esperanza de llegar al final del capítulo, pero ya veo que si no hubiera una pose cierta es buena, quizás este.
That's right. Then let's hurry up and find some evidence.
Ve, busca pista.
What's all this? Aw, it's a bunch of really cute pink accessories, a hair tie, a necklace, even a makeup box.
Cosas de mujeres.
Oh, Paimon sees it too, but... What? Huh? You mean the girls from... And all the boxes of things. These names.
¿Y aquí?
Let's see what's written here. Callus. Navia's father. Oh, this seems to be an Yep. This should prove the existence of the third person, right? We still have not determined the old dog's a real menace to deal with. Even if he can act whenever he wants to make... I concur. Let's send someone to kill him. Oh, seems like we've got a bunch of correspondence between the higher-ups.
Vale, haya uno y aquí. Estanque.
Oh, look! There's an important-looking basin over here, and it's full of water. That means this is where they make all the synth. If you dilute it with Paimon, we'll take notes.
Bueno, obviamente que acá es donde se guardan las chicas, donde guardan trofeos de las víctimas.
What's this over here? Looks like some kind of place for research. Experiment number... The experiment was a failure. No individual managed to resurface from the water from the primordial sea. Sorry, traveler. Paimon will try her best. It's just... How can someone write something that terrible and... You read the rest. Paimon's too scared to keep going.
El motivo del investigador era salvar a piel de su amado.
So that's why he did all of these Wait, did he really think he'd be able to find a way just by dissolving people over and over? That's just insane! Huh?
Batch.
Isn't that the name you heard by the fountain? Paimon thought he was an eyewitness in the serial disappearances case. You mean Vache is the one who did all of these... experiments? So that's it! Vache was no victim. But no, that's not it either! If that's the case, why would he want people to resurf in any case? Whoa! There's so much synth here! And so many bottles of ingredients that probably just contain the waters of the primordial sea. Mixing in Whoa! There's even fruit-flavored synth? Yep, it's soup!
Bueno, creo que son todas las pistas.
We've looked at almost everything here and it's... Yeah! We haven't found anything that reveals his true identity!
Por lo visto, Bachel es Marcel en esta línea,
Able
pero
to find anything.
hay que ver.
Whoever it is probably destroyed everything to do with that name a long time ago. That way, even if we bring all this back to the opera, we won't be able to identify the true culprit. Sure thing. Paimon won't admit defeat to...
Aquí no me dejan. Están que no me dejan acá. Guau, ¿qué faltaría? Botella. Creo que ya aquí ya estuvo todo. Solo se me ocurre acá.
You take that side and Paimon will take this side. Check everything carefully. Ugh. Nothing at all. And Paimon can't even find snacks either. Whoa, really? Let Paimon see. Vinier. Isn't that Vache's lover's? Then you found her diary. Aw. It's just a normal diary.
¿Luque?
So many! A whole page's worth! But the final name she decided, Marcel. Wait, but Marcel's pretty old. Has this case been going on for so long that he's Vache and Vinier's grown son?
O sea que él está tratando de volver a su madre. Ojalá que yo no tenga que volver hasta allá.
And whose image do you see, Marcel? Is it a man named Vache? Oh, so you do know.
I'm merely surprised you'd suddenly say the name of someone.
I was waiting for you to say.
Navia! We're back!
As expected of my.
Just how often do you intend to flout the rules of this court?
It's all right, Monsieur Neuvillette. Given their confidence, I expect...
El cuaderno.
But the truth of it, Marcel, is that you've always been Vache.
Huh?
We've investigated your lair and we already know everything! After your lover, Vinier, was dissolved, you kept abducting young women to experiment Courant on the hopes of bringing her back to you. You even created Marcel as a new identity and destroyed all records of your past as Vache.
So that's it. Even the villains in opera performances rarely go that far. And with that, Marcel's motive has...
This information regarding your past also dismantled... Well, Marcel, do you know where you went wrong? You fixated your gaze on the lover that passed away, instead of paying attention to the living people around you. So, you never noticed how we changed, or how we grew as individuals.
You also never understood Boss's real expectations for his daughter.
Or our determination to see things through.
Your determination.
Mr. Marcel, please speak up now if you would like to defend yourself. Otherwise, the...
Do you really think I wanted to do any of this? Pay attention to you? What for? Have you ever paid attention to me? Ever empathized with my pain? Ever known how it feels to watch the love of your life dissolve right in front? No one helped me. No one even believed me. All those decades ago, even the officers from the they said there's no way a human being can turn into water. So I must have gone mad from grief. Vignier's death was brushed away by all of you as if it didn't matter at all. Well, now you know, don't you? Ha! You only have yourselves to blame. You set up this ornate opera house in pursuit of your so-called justice, your beloved drama, while turning a blind eye to the suffering of Vignier is dead. We promised each other that we would always be together, wherever she goes, but I'm not from this blasted place.
Hey, is that water from the primordial sea that he's drinking?
I can't dissolve! Can't dissolve! Can't dissolve! Do you all see? I can't go! I can't follow! So if I can't, I did all of that. And in the end, that accursed cat... I spent my entire life living on pins and needles, only to get stabbed by his...
The suspect is exhibiting signs of mental distress. Go...
Don't touch me! Don't anybody come near me! I still... Vignier! Vignier! Please, Vignier! Don't think badly of me.
At this point, the verdict of this trial is clear. With Mr. Marcel's conviction, the charges against Mr. Tartak...
Fine by me. I was in a bad mood, but after a show like that, I'm actually feeling pretty good.
Traveler, please submit all the evidence you have collected to the guards, so that I might review and summarize the truth behind... The man now known as Marcel was originally named Vache and worked as an adventurer with his partner and lover Vignier. During an underwater expedition, Vignier accidentally came into contact with water from the primordial sea and was dissolved in front of Vache as Vache learned of the primordial water's existence through the work of others and began to kidnap young women for research, with the goal of discovering a method to cover his tracks. He invented the new alias of Marcel. During the course of his research, Vache discovered that a diluted concoction of water from the primordial sea can induce feelings of euphoria, and began to... However, as he accumulated wealth to fund his continued research and expanded the scope, he came into conflict with Spina. After exchanging blows with Spina de Rasula for many years, Vache decided to assassinate their president, Callus. Although the assassination did not go as Vache expected, he was able to turn Callus into the murder suspect by dissolving the assassin and just recently, Vache attempted to frame Linny as the culprit of the serial. However, his attempt to frame Linny failed, and the power of water from the primordial sea became public knowledge. This case also exposed enough of... Thus concludes the enigmatic history of the serial disappearances case. The Oratrice will now deliver the final verdict regarding the charges against Mr. Vache. According to the judgment of the Oratrice Mécanique d'Analyse Cardinale, guilty.
Guards! Take Vache.
Good. It's what he deserves.
With that, the serial disappearance...
We really just witnessed history. Who would have thought the true culprit would be such a polite and well-spoken...
Yippee! We have no... He's hurt so many innocent people, and now he's finally getting what he deserves. Huh? Are you okay?
Demoiselle, you were absolutely...
The day our late boss had always hoped for has finally come.
Yeah. Yeah. See, Papa? Spina di Rosula's still...
Well now, hasn't this been a most delicious piece of drama? The villain has been caught, justice has been served, past wrongs have been... Since it's been such a great show, I'll just let the false accusations against me slide. Either way, I've still...
Please wait just one moment, Mr. Tartaglia.
What now? None of this has...
According to court protocol, since this trial was initiated due to a charge against you, a verdict must also be...
Oh, come on. Is this really necessary? Haven't you already caught the real criminal? Isn't...
Please respect the laws of Fontaine. This has always been the rule.
All right, but this sure is a lot of hassle. All I need to do is stand over there, right?
Through evidence presented in the public trial that was just held, it has been established that Mr. Tartaglia has no direct connect. The guilty party has been identified, and thus it is logical to suppose Mr. We now turn to the Oratrice Mécanique d'Analyse Cardinale. According to the judgment of the Oratrice Mécanique d'Analyse, guilty.
What?
Hey! That's not funny! Didn't you just say What's with this verdict? Is your justice machine malfunctioning?
Se le ha roto el cacharro.
This has never happened before. The Oratrice actually...
I mean, have you ever heard of an innocent Fatui Harbinger? Do you think the Oratrice might have just convicted him?
But weren't the charges about the serial disappearances case? No matter what else he's guilty of...
The judgment of the Oratrice Mécanique d'Analyse Cardinale is by law. Guards, please take the suspect in...
So this is Justin Fontaine. What a joke. You've got your rules. Well, I've got mine too!
I am sorry. If you have been wronged, we will find the truth. But the rules of the court must be upheld.
Hey, Monsieur Novelette, what's going on? Shouldn't they have been cleared already?
Apologies. This is also the first time I've encountered such a situation. However, according to the rules established at the conception of Fontaine's court system, all I do is follow court procedure. As for why the Oratrice arrived at the conclusion it did, you should probably ask someone more knowledgeable than me.
Why are you looking at me? I don't know what happened there either. Hey, stop staring at me!
What does Lady Farina mean by that?
She says she has no idea either, but that's impossible.
Yeah, so are the verdicts reliable or not? Can results like this really be called justice?
My dearest citizens, did you really think we'd allow an incorrect verdict to be handed out? Don't tell me. You thought even I...
But the way she looked just now, it was pretty obvious.
However, given the state of things, I shall give you an explanation. Everything that just took place, including my supposed shock, and of course, for every performance there is a script. Everything has unfolded exactly as if you thought Child had nothing to do with the serial disappearances case, it is only because you've been everything he's done. Not to mention the date. All shall be revealed in time. You will come to understand my noble intentions as well. Now, having said that, although I hate to leave things hanging in suspense, it is now time for this performance.
So she chose to make her...
So you're saying we shouldn't put much stock into what she just said?
She probably just put on that performance to save face. As for the truth, it's unlikely that she actually has any idea. However, please be assured that I will to investigate this case in a personal capacity. Just as I promised, if the judgment has been incorrect...
All right. Even though we feel pretty badly for him, after all, he's done plenty of bad stuff. So he should have known he... Oh, Monsieur Nervalet!
Bueno, salimos de la...
Hey, what are you doing? Quick, stop him!
Traveler! Hey! Traveler!
Marcel! What are you doing over here?
Stop resisting arrest!
No, wait! I just want to ask the Traveler something. I'm not looking to run away. Please, just let me ask this one small thing.
Go on.
Thank you. I was being led away when I finally realized something. Where did you first hear the name? I erased all records of that name.
Are you still trying to prove your innocence? Give it up. You've already been convicted.
Really? You did? You're sure? You met her? But how could that be? How did you manage to do it? The Fountain of Lucine? Then she's been so close to me all along. Please give me a chance to talk to her again. Just let the Traveler take me to the fountain to see her one last time.
What? Give an inch and you want to take a mile? Do you think serial killers get to make requests?
Paimon agrees. Why should we give him what he wants?
This request, is it worth as much to you as your life?
Of course! Wait, no, it's worth even more.
Humans. Will they betray the instinct to live just to satisfy spiritual need? Very well.
Your Honor, I fear that...
I will go with him. You do not need to worry about...
In that case...
Thank you.
Bueno, vamos a la fuente. A ver si por fin es el fin.
Is this the place? You said she's here, but what do I need to do to see her?
Yeah, and even Paimon could hear her after drinking that thing. Didn't you just drink a lot?
Vache!
Ah!
Yes, that's it. So you heard it.
Vinier, it's me! It's me.
Vache?
I'm here! Where are you?
Hey, wait! Be careful!
Vinier, is that you? It's me, Vache! Vinier!
Vache? Why did you come? Didn't I... You... You look a lot.
It's been more than 20 years. All this time, only the thought of bringing you back has kept me alive. I must be dreaming. Who would have thought I'd get the chance to tell you all of my feelings like Vignier? You are my everything. I really don't know how I could live without you.
But Vache, if you ask me, this world would be better off without. If not for you, I would have finished my law degree and probably become a top. If not for you, I would have continued to pursue my love of the arts and my work. If not for you, I would at least have been able to take care of my mother. And she would not have grown old and died alone. It's all because of your self-
Wait, you are not Vignier.
You're right. I am not Vignier. I am the sacrifices. Every woman who died by your hand, as our bodies dissolved, our consciousnesses flowed back to the our thoughts circulated endlessly within the primordial sea, and we were no longer individuals. I'm Cressy. I'm Lemonade. The only one I am not is Vignier.
Why? But then...
She doesn't want to see you anymore. Every tendril of her consciousness is avoiding you. This is what you get for your selfishness. Your selfishness robbed us of our lives and our futures. You said time and time again that you'd do... But did you ever consider whether she'd want to see you do the things that you did? If she... You are a liar. A heartless murderer. The only thing you are not is Vignier. From the moment your first victim died and her consciousness merged with Vignier's, she has had nothing but pure...
No! Vignier! She can't hate me.
You still don't understand. When I said don't look for me, that came from the real Vignier. She really... But on top of that, she also said that because it's her fight. She said that because she knew that if you did come here, we will show no mercy. Vache. Vache? Vache. 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 Drown.
Wow.
Finally, we have some time to do shopping.
Está lloviendo.
Gosh, it's really been a long time since we've been able to relax.
Well met, partner. I knew something great was...
Even this weather can't put a damper on the...
It's a pleasure to see you both again.
Oh, hey, Navia! It's been...
Oh, now that I believe. I'm easy to work with and always bring home the bacon.
Sounds like you're really enjoying life.
It's just been one thing after the other. I've been making... Everyone from Spina di Rosula organized a memorial for my father. We never held a memorial when he first died. This time, though, everyone in Poisson, and even many people from the court, all attended.
So his name's definitely been cleared now.
It's been the dearest wish of Demoiselle.
That blasted stubborn fool. Oh, by the way, I ran into Charlotte just after... well, maybe it'd be more accurate to...
Huh? So you know Charlotte too? Vish?
Yeah. Way back when I first became the president of the Spina di Rosula, I believe the story was called The True Heart of Darkness. Secret Tales of the Yup. To be fair, though, it was a really flat... She was trying to lean on our friendship to get me to do an exclusive...
Oh, yeah. She told us about...
Anyway, I told her to make sure that when she writes about you guys and...
Now that's another thing to look...
Oh, and in other...
Oh, are you two on better terms now?
While you were investigating Vashay's headquarters, Clorand gave testimony on my father. It was thanks to her that we were able to turn the tide. I wanted to thank her.
Oh, that's great!
Anyway, now that the case has finally been solved, perhaps it will slowly begin... Oh, actually...
What is it?
I should pay a visit to my father's grave and tell him the truth of what happened. And on top of that...
Miss Navia.
Indeed.
Creo que ahora sí se va a
Sure
terminar.
thing. I'd like...
And in that case, everyone, let's be off.
Yeah, you're...
A ver, ¿dónde está la tumba?
This is where my father's grave is.
Huh? There's so much... Isn't that Nervalette? Why would the Chief Justice be here? Huh? Navia?
My apologies. I should have asked before coming to pay my...
Don't say that.
Sorry about that.
Oh, I was trying to say there's no need for you to apologize. I wanted to show my father how much I've grown. But still, I doubt I've grown to the point that even the Chief Justice...
In that case, I will stop apologizing for now.
You really could use some pointers on understanding human... In any case, why did you come to Poisson?
Well, ever since that day, there was once a time when I didn't want to believe that there could be anything more important to humans than life itself. Oh, rather than that, it's probably more truthful to say I didn't believe humans were capable, which is also why I didn't stop your father from beginning that fateful duel. I believed that a truly innocent man would never throw away his life like that. That there was nothing, should have been nothing, but Mr. Callis proved me utterly and decisively wrong. If not for his sacrifice, the serial Mr. Callis made the choice he did for his daughter, for his associates, and for many people, and in the end, from a certain perspective, a justice that's higher than... So, you asked me why I came here. I just wanted to say my apologies to Mr. Callis in person. I should have noticed all. This regret has filled me with a sadness that has haunted me for days. That high and mighty chair in the Opera Epiclese indeed insulates one from many important things. Spina di Rosula, thank you so much for your heart.
So, you're actually one of those types that's cold on the outside.
Sorry about that. Self-expression is not one of my...
Didn't I just say you don't need to apologize?
Ah, so Navia and Nervalette seem... Let's not disturb them for now. We can wait till after they're done. Paimon's never paid respects at someone's grave before. Huh? Oh no. Paimon hopes Miss Navia won't be... Anyway, Nervalette is still standing around there. It's not...
Está largo.
Oh, it's you two. Did Miss Navia invite you to come pay your...
We ran into Navia on the...
I see. Then...
well, it's...
Please feel free. Though outsiders, you helped us solve one of the greatest mysteries in Fontaine, and it would be...
So, at court, the bad guys referred to that...
Truthfully, that name is already quite accurate. I can only surmise that Vacher and his ilk only learned of its nature and... There used to be a special sea on the surface of this planet. The nature of its seawater was rather different from that. Most of Tevat's life forms were first born in that special sea.
Huh. So it really...
But today, the primordial sea no longer... What Vacher discovered must have been some kind of special case, or a remnant.
Huh. So that's how it is.
Indeed. Why would the primordial sea, which was known to engender and... To be frank, that also doesn't match my understanding of this. Is there anything...
Quedó todo el mundo en lo mismo.
That the sea levels will rise and everyone will be dissolved in water. Does that appropriate?
That's right! It was
Yes, up to the present. Rumors have it that this prophecy is rooted in the
a prophecy?
2 parts of the prophecy have already proven correct. The rising sea levels and the ability. Speaking of the prophecy, Farina has also always taken it quite seriously. If the rumors were true, then perhaps...
But with Farina...
Is there anything else you'd like to ask? Your sibling? Another blonde-haired... If he ever stepped foot in Fontaine, I'm sure he followed our... Is there anything else?
LOL, nos despacharon
My
rápido.
apologies. My investigation. However, For many years, I have been quite aware that the Oratrice, as a divinely created mechanism, the people's unified faith in the concept of justice, not only can it produce the incredible power of indemnity, which is all to say, I have been prepared for a...
So when Lenny told us that he heard a human voice...
I was not aware such a thing had occurred. Perhaps that could serve to prove my conjecture. In any case, I am inclined to believe that the Oratrice does have a methodology all its own. Based on Farina's reaction, I doubt even she had any idea what was going on. While we do intend to get to the bottom of this, for now, we regret to say that the Fatui Harbinger, if we did incorrectly convict him of crimes he did not commit...
If you ask Paimon, the only compensation he'll want is a no-holds-barred fight with you.
Is there anything else you'd like to ask me about?
No, no más preguntas.
Very well. It will soon be time for me to leave this blissful tranquil...
You really are super busy, Monsieur Nev...
Crime and villainy do not have the day off, and so justice...
All right. Huh? Paimon just noticed that the rain has stopped.
Al fin se terminó. Uf, soy libre. ¡Libre! ¡Guau! Y nadie se fue. Debí hablar con ella primero. A ver si puedo agarrar ese cofre antes de...
And away I go! Not now. Stars, shine through. Trust and rebuild. Cross over.
Oh, what a cute treasure coffin.
Cofre por allá. Muchos cofres por todos lados. Pero eso será otro día. Que huele a rompecabezas y ya está bueno de tanto rompecabezas. A ver qué me dieron. Gemas. Gemas. Para el viajero la gota.
Silly
Ah, verdad que no se carga así. Verdad que tengo que buscar un... Ah, pues ya que estamos por acá, vamos a destapar el... No creo que lleguemos. Si llegamos, no llegamos, si llegamos, no llegamos. Un saltico, si llegamos. Entonces el cementerio queda de acá. Me perdí el cementerio. Ah, está fácil de acordarse. Es del barco para acá. Ok. A ver, ¿qué más me dieron? Deseo. Deseo. Esto ni vale la pena. Ya está bien. Un plano de una mesa. Bueno, gente. Hora de descansar. Que pasen una bonita noche.
The night is cold.
Nos vemos otro día. Chau.